And it's just phenomenal how we get to see the camera in motion now. We've talked about it, the history of it, where your work is, and just what the class entails, but this is fun stuff right here.
Yeah, so the students are going to learn to use a large format camera, an 8x10. This is an Alessandro Ghibellini.
So how old is this camera, or it's relatively new?
Yeah,
or...
you wouldn't use a historic camera if in the wet plate process, because the actual silver destroys wood. So you would actually be destroying this historic
So there's
camera.
wood in this camera.
This camera is a modern day one. It's more made out of composites and metals, so it's not as it won't get affected by the silver as much, but if you had a historic wood camera that's 150 years old, you probably wouldn't put as many plates through it as I'm using here, because you'd actually be destroying your instrument, which is kind of romantic, right? Like you're destroying your camera with every image that you make.
And before we show off the camera, can I interrupt you? Because I'm interested, there's not many of these around the world. There's only so many wet plates.
Well, there's a lot of, it's not only wet plate, large format photography. There's a lot of people that have large format cameras that do prints and do photo papers and regular film, like 1950s film stuff. It just, the cameras have not changed in 150 years. So a camera is a camera. It's a light type box with a lens at the front that focuses the light.
So interesting.
These are the things that I want to be able to show the students. So this is made in Italy. And you focus it by moving the bellows back and forth. And there's composition. You can swivel it, you can turn it, you can do whatever you want. And I'm going to be teaching the students how to do composition and lighting and look at different lighting techniques.
So in other words, it's very similar to, like you said, a modern day camera.
It is.
But back and forth, and it's almost like movie making.
Right.
Kind of,
well,
when you visit
I'm making my pictures on a photosensitive substrate, which is the silver. You understand that digital cameras are using light and a sensor, a computer sensor to to capture that light. So that's the real big difference, and that's why it doesn't cost you anything to take digital photographs. You can grab your iPhone out and snap away. What does it cost you? It doesn't cost you anything. That's not the case with large format photography. Even if you load a piece of sheet film in here, you're probably looking at $5 a crack. So things are slowed down. So we can all remember. Some of us can remember back to the Polaroid time when you took a Polaroid picture. It cost you $1. Nobody has any skimming in the game anymore with digital photography.
And so this is changing that a little bit as
it's just going back and showing that this is the great grandfather of all other cameras. And you couldn't have your digital iPhone, you couldn't have your digital DSLR without this invention.
Absolutely.
And it really has not changed much.
And so how does it work? You said pull it up, pull it back, but if we were to pull underneath the curtain...
What's really fantastic is people expect a shutter. I have a lens cap here, so this camera doesn't have a shutter, so I'm the actual shutter. So I take the lens off and I start counting 1, 2, 3. As I'm counting, I'm making the exposure. So the light bouncing off my subject back through the lens and is focused on the ground glass and activates the photosensitive silver on the back. And you get all the focus and everything here through the bellows.
And so that's about 10 seconds.
It's about 10 seconds in the studio. Now, if we went outside and I had 360 degree of light, my exposure times would be about 2 seconds. But even that is very long. You can't move at all. So you'll see that there's a head brace here that actually holds the person in place. I can grab it real quick.
If we can walk over there, that would be great.
Grab it real quick. So this head brace actually holds the person in place,
and that would
so
go
that they don't move. So all those photographs, you have to think about wet plating as the Civil War era, right? Abraham Lincoln had his wet plate photograph taken. So that historic photograph, of Abraham Lincoln in the chair?
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I can rest assured that one of these is behind him, holding his head into place. Because if you move at all, and people think, well, I can't move like that. It's not that kind of movement. Like even this movement here is too much.
That makes a huge difference. Makes
a huge difference. So
that's
you will be blurry.
Interesting. You have me so intrigued by taking this class, Shane. It's so cool to see everything, and I can tell your passion behind it too.
No, thanks.
And it's so fun that we get to have a class at BSC regarding this.
It's a huge honor. I graduated from there, so I'm a nurse.
Well, we love that. For information on where they can sign up for classes and such, and just information, where can they go?
Yeah, they can just go to the Bismarck State College website and look at the class catalog. And the only programs that are making it available to other people who want to, if you're not even a student, can just sign up. But if you want to come out, and it's going to be on Tuesdays, there's going to be a 1-hour lecture. And then on Thursdays from 2 to 4, the students are in the studio working in this environment, learning how to make pictures the proper way.
Nothing beats a hands-on class.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get to make your own photograph too by the end.
And they're going to get to keep those.
Oh, we love it. Shane, thank you so much for coming today. We appreciate it. And let us see your studio. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to return back with more North Dakota Today after the break.